We begin here in Nigeria, where President Bola Tinubu has welcomed regional leaders, international investors, and business executives to the capital, Abuja, for the inaugural West Africa Economic Summit. The summit is a premier regional event that unites leaders, policymakers, business stakeholders, and the youth to drive economic integration and foster sustainable growth across West Africa region. The theme for the meeting is unlocking trade and investment opportunities in the region as it aims to foster dialogue, build partnerships, and drive regional cooperation to position West African region as a globally competitive and unified economic bloc. President Tinubu describes the event as a pivotal step toward unlocking the region's vast economic potential through unity and strategic collaboration. The summit is holding at the newly renovated Abuja International Conference Center, starting today, June 20, to the 21st of June 2025. Well, joining us now for more on this is Oyalowo. He's a political and development economist. Thank you for speaking to us on Network Africa. He joins us from our Abuja studios.
Thank you for having me. Good evening.
Good evening to you. Well, from a financial analyst's point of view, with the significance of this inaugural West Africa Summit in mind, what do the numbers tell us about why intra-West African trade volumes is so important?
Yeah, thank you very much. Clearly, if we look at our global trade volume, I have it written here, so you pardon that I will have to read it because it's a bit voluminous. Annually, our trade volume in West Africa is between 60 to 50 billion United States dollars, and just about 20% of trade between the region. And if you now go down, you realize that between this region and our biggest trade partner, which is the United Kingdom and the EU, the volume is about 40%, which is between 120 to 150 billion. Then if you go down further, you find out that we have some other trade partners in China, which is the fastest growing trade partner, about 35% of our exports. And then America, about 15%, which is about 40 to 60 billion. So if you look at these figures, clearly our trade volume is huge enough to substantiate and make this region a big economic bloc. However, we are not able to achieve that because there is no synergy. And if you look at our counterpart in Europe, the European Union, they have a common currency, they have a common border system, they have a common visa, so that I think they have it, they call it Schengen. One visa from one place takes even an outsider to all the subsisting country. So we need to remove this barrier because the numbers are huge. But what we are doing between ourselves is infinitesimal, just between 15 to 20%. We need to build up the volume, and that can only happen by strategic partnership, by synergy, and removing all manner of trade barriers, including, but not limited to, currency, trade, travel system, and transportation. We need to build on this, and this summit, for me, is a welcome idea, but we have to ensure that whatever agreement are reached, whatever MOUs are signed, there are systems in place to ensure that these agreements are permanently put in a system that can work. We can have maybe a committee, I don't know how they want to do it, but we must have a regional integration because right now, the challenge we're having in this region is that we trade more with external bodies than within ourselves. And if we want to achieve the after agreement that we've had over all these years, the region must integrate before you can have the entire Africa. So if West Africa can have a common system, East Africa can have a common system, Central, then you can now dovetail that into the entire African continent. But for now, we are too fragmented, we are too divided, we are too strategic in the way we do business between ourselves and with external bodies.
Yeah, and one challenge to some of what you have just mentioned, is unrecorded trade and smuggling. And this seem to be the blur of the real picture of economic activity at our borders. Talking about, border trade relations now, how should policymakers and investors and stakeholders at this summit approach this challenge, especially when analyzing trade data?
Well, it has to be handled in a multifaceted way. While the economy people are sitting down and planning, the security must also be in place. I remember just about 2 or 3 days ago, the Chief of Defense Staff is complaining and talking about having porous borders and so on and so forth. So the volume of unrecorded trade is huge, far more, most likely far more than the recorded trade. So it is not good for the economy when we have such unrecorded good happening because of criminalities and all manner of smuggling. So we must look at the security aspect and we must look at the economic aspect and the political will, which is the most important thing, the political will to drive whatever agreement is reached or signed, because that is the only way we can harness our vast potential and stop calling it potential but turn it into our reality. We cannot continue to talk about potential forever. Most of these countries have been independent for over 60 years. So we should go beyond potential to real stuff so that we can benefit as countries and as a region, so that if the region is fully integrated, you cannot look beyond just West African region. You cannot begin to look at the OAU, just like the EU has been fully integrated.
All right, then, Ayobami Oyalowo, political and development economist, thank you for speaking to us on Network Africa.
Thank you for having me.